Hello, and welcome to a collaborative video with my good friend Fion. So, over the past 3 or so years, me and Fion have bonded a lot over music. We're both music creators. We both kind of make our own albums and record music, and we've had a great friendship over that. And we're also just massive music nerds, and we often have extensive conversations about the history of like popular music and different artists, and the record industry and collecting music, collecting CDs, etc., etc. And Fion is a bit of a dance music expert, and he's a big Madonna fan, so I thought what better topic to cover than the queen of pop herself. So without further ado, I'm going to hand things over to Fion.
Hi, my name is Fionn, and these are my top 10 picks for Madonna songs of all time. For number 10, I'm going to go with Beautiful Stranger, because I really like the production and the whole vibe, the way it has this sort of like pseudo 60s thing going on, but also has a bit of that sort of trip-hoppy kind of electronic vibe from Ray of Light carrying through into it. And I also think that like the vocal melody and singing is just like very strong and catchy.
So coming in at number 10 is a track called Swim from the Ray of Light album. You're going to see a lot of Ray of Light on my list, just a word of warning, because it's my favourite album from her. I think one of the reasons why I chose this track is that I'm just such a sucker for a really good, moody, kind of trip-hop inspired beat. And William Orbit really brings it on this track with the sound effects and the production and the synths and the guitars. It's a really chilled out track, but lyrically it's actually pretty heavy, You've got a line in the song, "Children killing children while students rape their teachers." I think this feeling is made a lot more prevalent by the fact that on the day that Madonna recorded the vocal for this track, one of her friends was murdered, and she found out about it and recorded the vocal, and I think you can hear that in her voice a lot. It's quite a notable song for that, and I think it's a fan favourite on the album that isn't a single. And in terms of samples, this song sampled the Ultramagnetic MCs, took some drums from that, and it also sampled the Beach Boys. One of the guitar lines in the song was sampled from an old school Beach Boys track from the early 70s.
For number 9, I'm going to go with Borderline because it's a classic. It's very retro and some would say it's a little bit dated, but I think that the message of the song and how it relates to relationships is a really timeless message that sort of like carries through to today. And the music is just like very catchy, the production and the whole vibe of the song, it just oozes this like New York City cool that she really had in those early years, and it really goes great with like the music video as well.
So coming in at number 9, I've got Holiday. Can't go wrong with this track. I think it's the song that really broke Madonna into the mainstream. It was her first big hit, her breakthrough in America. The song was written by like a disco band who I think were going to originally just do it as one of their songs before it got handed over to Madonna, and it's just it's just pure pop. It really is just classic pop. The song kicks things off with those great chords which are accompanied by a bit of cowbell, which I believe was played by Madonna herself. The song was used in an episode of the TV show Derry Girls in a scene which I really felt that it fitted into. Yeah, and I've just always loved the song. I've loved the song since long before I was even a Madonna fan.
For number 8, I'm going to go with Rebel Heart, but specifically Avicii's demo version, because I really like the lyrics in this song, and I think that they're very true to who Madonna is as a person, without going too far into like her ego, I guess, the way that it can go in some of like the later stuff, like American Life. It can feel a bit like egotistical, but in this particular song, it feels like a really true, like biographical account of where she came from and like where she's come to be in her very long and very successful career, like where she is at now. And I think it's very inspirational and it's very cool to hear that perspective.
Coming in at number 8, I've got Hung Up from the Confessions on a Dance Floor record. This song is so immensely nostalgic for me. Whenever I hear it, it just takes me right back to being 5 years old when it came out. And hearing that absolutely glorious ABBA sample, which is so prevalent in the song. It's a real classic dance track. It's almost like a mashup. I think mashups were very popular around this time. And this track almost feels like some kind of Madonna ABBA mashup, you know, with that very prevalent sample from Gimme 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 a Man After Midnight. And I feel like she took that refrain from the classic ABBA track, which was already amazing on its own, and she almost just really adopted it and made it her own. And now I really associate it, that synthesizer line, with both Madonna and ABBA, you know.
For number 7, I'm going to go with Drowned World, Substitute for Love. And I think that this is a very beautiful song. Specifically, it's about the love between a mother and a daughter, but it can be about any type of love, really. It's very open to interpretation in that sense, and I like that about the song. Is that you know, you can look at it from like multiple different perspectives, and it still makes sense, and that's really cool. And it's very ethereal. The production is just like William Orbit like aces it on that track in particular. Yeah, it's just like a really good song.
At number 7, we've got another Ray of Light track. Surprise, surprise. We have Nothing Really Matters. I didn't even realise there was a music video for this track until today, and I watched it, and yeah, really good music video. A lot of interesting dancing from Madonna herself. Looks like kind of a low-budget music video, and you got all these creepy elements with all these people dancing around. Very abstract, almost looks like something out of a Bjork music video. There's that creepy thing where the girl levitates, which has been made into a GIF and spread around on the internet. But I just love this track. It's got a really kind of twisty, turny beat, and that great piano bit that comes in, you know, classic William Orbit moment. I think William Orbit really shines on this track with the production and the writing, and it's got these great orchestral flourishes which are very typical of William Orbit, and the song has just got such an infectious rhythm about it, you know. It's so danceable. I don't think anybody could listen to this track without at least like tapping their toes, or just like, you know, for me the song, it reminds me of my childhood. It reminds me of the kind of music that they used to play like in the cinema when they're advertising the sweets that you can buy and things like that. It's got this kind of really danceable, colourful flavour to it.
Number 6, I'm going to go for Ghost Town from Rebel Heart, which is a more recent track, but one of her better recent tracks, because it's just like, it calls back to like classic Madonna, just super melodic, super polished, and well-made pop music with like a bit of like an electronic vibe in the production, you know, like this kind of like future bass thing coming in. It's just really good, and also like feeling like you can find someone in the darkest and most lonely place in your life, and really connecting with someone is like something that is super relatable for a lot of people. And definitely in my case, it's relatable as well. So the lyrics are pretty good too, in that sense.
Next up, I've chosen, again from Ray of Light, The Power of Goodbye. This is a really, really gorgeous, beautiful, almost sensual track. Beautiful strings, beautiful chords, beautiful strummed acoustic guitar. I was listening to this album in preparation for this video. I've got it on vinyl, of course. And the way that it made me feel when I was listening to the album is it just made me feel really relaxed and really safe. And I think your favourite music and really good music should do that for you. It should just make you feel just incredibly embraced and chilled out. This album just makes you feel comforted, you know. So yeah, very majestic track, very lush. Lovely stuff.
And number 5, I'm going to go for Bad Girl from Erotica, which is a really sad and really harrowing track, and really just like almost like a thesis statement for the album in general, because it's about like how intimacy and sexuality can be like a really positive and really amazing and freeing thing, but it's also about like the loneliness and like the feelings of inadequacy and feelings of like insecurity that you get when you're very intimate with someone. And in this particular track, you really get that vibe like coming across in the lyrics and also the music with like those strings and this very like melancholic vibe, like minor key instruments. Like it's just like it's a dark song, but it's a song that like it's so dark that it sort of feels very freeing and very like soul lifting. You know, I often feel like that sort of paradoxical thing with songs a lot of the time, where like if it's really sad, it sort of almost lifts my soul. It feels uplifting. You know, like a song that says something truthful feels uplifting rather than something that's superficially happy.
For my next pick, we're going way, way back to the first album. I've chosen the track Burning Up, the 12-inch mix specifically. This is just an ultimate early 80s dance floor track, you know. It really reminds me of the really extended sort of danceable, funky tracks from Prince's 1999 and other things such as, you know, like classic club tracks from around that time, such as Bedsitter by Soft Cell. Yeah, and it's a big improvement on the album version of Burning Up. It's just so funky and danceable. It's just great.
For number four, I'm going to go with Forbidden Love, the 2005 version from Confessions on a Dance Floor. I think that this song is really got this cool, like Italo disco vibe, like a lot of the songs on that album. And it's really throwing back to the 80s, but like a form of 80s music that Madonna wasn't really involved in at the time, which sort of keeps it fresh and keeps it from being like a retread of past songs and albums. And it's just like the groove just like really like locks everything together, and the synths are so atmospheric and ethereal, and the vocals and the lyrics just come together to create like this very like almost haunting but like super danceable track that's just like absolutely just like makes you want to hit the floor. Even if you're not much of a dancer like me, you just want to hit the floor if you heard that song being played.
My next track is yet another Ray of Light track, and I've chosen Little Star, which I think is absolutely beautiful. I think it was written about the birth of Madonna's daughter, which was a huge inspiration on the Ray of Light album. This whole album deals with that a lot, and this track in particular was written for her. Yeah, it's an incredibly beautiful song. It almost sounds like a children's song in a way. You know, it's futuristic. It's got drum and bass influence. It's got these big kind of sonic sort of boom sounds like woo, very typical of drum and bass. Almost sounds kind of anime inspired in parts, I feel. All these sort of brilliant futuristic elements sort of rushing past you and filling up the vista of the track. And this is all set to a bit of double bass as well, which I didn't notice until I listened to the vinyl version of the song. You've got some gorgeous plucked double bass notes in there as well. It just makes for such a treat of a track, you know, so much to dig into, so much kind of tasty elements. Just beautiful production, really well done.
At number three is Oh Father, which is a beautiful but very sad song about domestic abuse, specifically between like a father and a child. And I think that this song is very, very sad, but also very deep and very empathetic towards people who are dealing with that sort of stuff, mainly because I think it's based on personal experience, and you know, you can really feel it, and it feels like so real and very raw as well, compared to a lot of like the more polished tracks in her 80s oeuvre. You know, you have more of like a raw vocal performance that feels like very like you don't get vocal performances like this now because of autotune and everything, but back then you really like feel the emotions of what she's singing about, and that's what I really like about this track.
Okay, so the next track I've chosen is Open Your Heart from the True Blue album. This song, I chose this song because it's just, it's got that real 80s funk pop sound, which I really like. It really reminds me of Level 42, who I like a lot. And, you know, the opening sequence of the song is just pure Level 42. I think this song was going to be offered to Cyndi Lauper at one point, but ended up going to Madonna. And yeah, it's quite fitting because Level 42 were the opening act for the True Blue tour. So yeah, I mean, that just goes hand in hand with that. And again, it's got a really epic, really melodic chorus as well. You've sort of got the cheesiness of the verses, but then you've got that really glorious chorus.
Number 2 is a classic, probably an obvious pick for number 2, or maybe it would be more likely to be most people's number 1, to be honest, is Like a Prayer. Just an amazing pop song, but also like super unorthodox, and was probably a risk to release this as like the first single, but she went ahead and did it anyway. And I think that that's super cool. You know, like it's got this rock, funk, gospel infused kind of genre fusion vibe going on, a little bit of dance music in there as well. Yeah, it's just amazing. And like when the choir comes in, you know, like you just get goose pimples on your arms, because it's just like, it's so awesome. Like the fact that she got this choir and they're all singing it together, it just sounds amazing. Like, you need to listen to the song if you haven't already to really like feel the impact. It's a powerful piece of music.
I think now is probably a good time to note that I'm not really into ranking things, so this ranking list for me is just in the spirit of fun, because I always find that there is no definitive way that I feel about a lot of artists' work. You know, my favourite tracks would vary on every single day, and my favourite albums, apart from maybe the top 2, which we're about to get into, they would probably always be my top 2, I'd say. So, at number 2, we have the very beautiful, the very epic Frozen. Man, how did I not hear this track until I was like 21, 22? This song is glorious, and it's so typical of the time. It almost sounds a bit like Unfinished Sympathy by Massive Attack and a lot of the other Ibiza type music, which was incorporating strings and film music, you know. So it kind of reminds me of like, I guess, Moby and a lot of the electronic-y artists of that period. It seemed to sort of be melting with film music as well, you know, Portishead as well, but this is a bit more of a danceable version of that. But this song is absolutely beautiful, and of course not forgetting that hypnotic music video from Chris Cunningham, one of his finest music videos, absolutely glorious. The lyrics to this song are really powerful for me. I love the sort of chanting that you get on this song, the sort of hummed kind of chanting. This album was also kind of Madonna's like spiritual awakening, and she was studying Buddhism and Hinduism and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, some of the most beautiful strings I've ever heard on a like a pop song or a rock song or whatever you want to call this, dance electronic song. It's just beautiful.
And number 1 for me is Open Your Heart, which is just like a really solid pop song with a bit of a rock vibe and a bit of an electronic vibe as well. Something I love about a lot of the songs on True Blue is that they're very like electronically pure, and there isn't a lot of real instruments at all, really. It's just like very synthetic and electronic, and it comes across in this song as well, although there's a bit of guitar. Like the fusion is just like, it works really well, and the lyrics are just like a testament to like something that everybody has gone through, this unrequited love that you just can't give up on. I've related to that myself a lot. And, you know, this particular song has inspired a lot of my own lyrics in a sense, because I often write about like those feelings of like, of like longing and feelings of like not being able to get what you want. Yeah, Madonna just hits the nail on the head here and really like captures a feeling that everybody has gone through, but turns it into this like triumphant banger of a song. And yeah, it's just really good. Like, listen to the song if you haven't already. Like, that's what I would recommend.
And at number one, we have, of course, Like a Prayer, one of the most epic pop songs ever made by anyone ever. I have a feeling that this may have been one of the first songs I ever heard, because when I hear it, it conjures up such immense memories and nostalgia. You know, I can remember the feeling that it gave me, but I can't remember the exact memory, if you know what I mean. You know, when something is just goes so far back and is so ingrained in your consciousness, but you know that you heard it, you know, probably when you were very, very young. And yeah, it's a beautiful song. It's incredible.
My name is Fionn again, and that was my top 10 Madonna songs of all time. If you liked that, hit the like button and subscribe to Spectrum Tube, and also subscribe to F!ONN or Fionn, which is my channel. And have a great day.